The guide hand, right? The guide hand is, in my eyes, responsible for two things. It's responsible for balancing the basketball, obviously, but also responsible for balancing you, right? We don't want to start taking this guide hand off the ball too early because that can ruin our balance, which we'll talk about here in a second. But one of the most common problems that I see with players that have been really, really mindful about pushing through that basketball with one hand, which is awesome, which is what we want to do, because the more variables pushing through the ball, obviously the more perfect we have to be, and that's not what we're after. Is the guide hand being removed just a bit too early, right? And why can that be problematic in what we're doing? So what I see a lot, and we'll go to the basket here, is a player will come up to his set point here and remove the hand right about here, right? And if we remove the hand here, right, before this ball has even started making its way to the basket, we run the risk of losing balance of the basketball, right? So in a very controlled way, obviously I could sit here all day and make shots this way when I'm pulling that hand off. But the faster I want to start moving, I mean, even if I'm close and then I remove that hand too early, the less control I'm going to have. So what we want to think about is this guide hand comes onto the basketball and it's providing as little pressure as possible. Now, to a degree, it's going to have to provide some, but we have to be able to relieve pressure from it. So what you can think about while doing this is either elbows always moving together or wrists always moving together, right? So as long as your elbows are mirroring each other and your wrists are mirroring each other, even on the follow through, right, we're going to be in a position where that guide hand is going to do its job in balancing the basketball, but also balancing you. So balancing the basketball meaning I can remain and keep contact with this ball longer when I extend through, right? Versus if I just kept it back. So my control feels 10 times better when everything is moving towards the target. And also because I'm not pulling this hand off and everything is going towards, all my energy is going that way. Versus if I were to start shooting and then this hand pulled off, that hand pulling off that way is going to start to bring me offline of my target, right? So let's just say for a real extreme example, and it's something that I have seen, you'll see some players that will get to this two position here and then remove that hand and now they're through the shot, right? Which becomes really, really difficult to do, especially as you go faster and faster. You can think about yourself, pull up shot off of the dribble, hand remove, and now I'm trying to make my way in terms of finding something repeatable with one hand. It's really difficult to do, even though I just made both of them. All right. Instead, what we're going to look to do is get to that point up here where that hand stays on the ball and everything goes toward the target as much as possible. There's a bunch of different ways that you can work on this if you are somebody that brings it off or takes it off the ball. One way to do it, I'm just going to show a real quick way, are just something I call guide hand slides. Guide hand slides start much like a one-hand shot would. One-hand shot start close to the body, work our way up, keep that ball in motion. All we would do is take that guide hand, put it on the basketball, no fingers, just palm, and then just work on maintaining contact with our palm on this ball as long as possible so that we can start to get that feeling of what it's like to extend that guide hand with the shooting hand, although there's not a lot of pressure coming in on it, right? So really good way just to start to get us acclimated with how we want that ball to move and how we want that guide hand to kind of serve its purpose in terms of balancing the basketball, but also balancing the body.